Alrighty, folks, welcome to episode 1 of the PSA Pod, the Podcast Studio Austin podcast. I'm the host, the manager of Podcast Studio Austin, Noah McRobertson. Today we brought on my friend Preston Maddox, one of the 3 founders of the studio. Before he built this studio, he was a traveling, touring musician for 30 years, worked in residential construction, managed and operated a bakery, and eventually found his way to working for Aubrey Marcus at Onnit, where he met Ryan Giles and Sky King, the other 2 founders of the studio. And we get into the backstory there, talk about tips for young creators just getting into the game. He shares some of his stories touring and his experiences shooting around the country, and then into some of his conspiracy theories about Harambe and Punch the Monkey. So an all-around entertaining and interesting episode for the first one. We're going to be rolling these out week by week, highlighting the different staff, the founders of the studio, and then the various clients that record out of here. So you're going to get to see this set in a bunch of different styles. We've got the curtain up today, the backdrop here for what was a fun recording. So enjoy our very first episode of the PSA Pod.
Are we We're rolling?
We're rolling. Sweet. For the first studio podcast.
Yeah, number one.
Numero uno, featuring Preston Maddox, as we just identified.
Yep, that's
He's pointing at you right now.
I am pointing at you right now. Or the picture? The picture
Frame
thing?
it up right there.
Yeah, that's like the 2000s.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Preston, you've been in the music industry for 30 years almost.
Yeah, started almost, 30 plus years now.
Yeah, and then content creation more or less for about 10 or so. So what are some things that early content creators usually miss when starting their journey?
Oh, there's a lot of things. I would start with the work part. I think that a lot of content creators kind of double down on the art and the fun part, and they kind of go back on the work part. And everything just requires boring work. That's the big differentiator as a content creator, is just doing the hard stuff repeatedly. And also, like, there's kind of a preciousness around people's creativity sometimes. And so just breaking that little glass box and not being precious about anything. And that's kind of part of the reps. So the more you work, the less things become precious. The more you learn, the more skills you acquire. It's really kind of like anything else. It's also a lot of business owners I've noticed have this problem too.
Yeah.
Like, they think that creativity is a switch you turn on and off, and that's not how it works. Creativity is a skill that you hone and acquire, and that you have or may not have, but it's something that you definitely have to polish and continue to work on. It's not something that's just given to you.
Yeah, it's like revising. Like, you probably wrote songs back in the day and were part of writing riffs and music and lyrics and having, change things up. And that's the non-glamorous part of creativity, clip cutting, all the thumbnailing, like everything for trying over and over and over again is the non-sexy part of content creation, but it's necessary.
Yeah, and also, like, to that point, especially with clip cutting, I think there's something to be said for taking what is supposed to be a boring task and doing it really, really well. Because something is so basic. You have this very limited rule set. And so you can't make all these wild decisions. You just have to make the right decisions, or good decisions, or interesting decisions. I think all of those things are things that new content creators try to double down on, instead of like coming up with some crazy idea or something that's just completely left field. And that's sweet, but those don't come that often. They're really kind of a here and there. And a lot of times ideas have to you kind of have to sit with the ideas and let the ideas grow and change and evolve in your mind and become different things. But it's such a slow process. While that's happening, you still need to be creating. You still need to be doing stuff. And so kind of like taking something like clip cutting or something that you think is beneath you, and then doing that really, really, really well. I think that's definitely something that newer content creators could do better at.
This whole segment was just to get the big hook at the beginning, so now I want to...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I want to now, like, all right, we talked about you being in music for 30 years. I'm interested in that background of you played music, traveling musician for a long time. How did you get into that? And just interested in the creator. We're kind of moving in the studio by creators for creators So Preston's been creating things for 30 plus years. Where does that start music wise?
Music wise, I mean, I always had kind of an interest in music. Like my parents had a piano, and I would listen to them play, and I would play myself. And then I like played violin in school. I was really bad. Well, I wasn't that bad, but like it wasn't. I mean, it's orchestra stuff, like do re mi whatever. I got a bass when I was 14 because my friends wanted to start a band, and everybody else wanted to play guitar, and no one wanted to play bass. And so I was kind of like the odd guy out, and so I was like, I'll play bass. That's cool. And so I started out as a bass player and kind of like have been. I think that's my favorite instrument. I think that's probably the thing. I think I'm a better guitar player than I am bass player, but bass is more fun for me. But guitar is like the thing that you can write songs on
Yeah.
and like do cooler stuff. So eventually I moved from bass to guitar and then kind of got another band with those guys. And got into a lot of like, I played a lot of different kinds of music back in the day. It was kind of an educational thing for me too. Like I spent a lot of time at blues jams when I was in college. So I like can play like a lot of blues guitar, blues bass, and played a lot of jazz in high school. I can play the jazz and guitar and bass still a little bit. I love hip hop, so I like learned all that stuff. I was really into metal and classic rock,
Yeah.
so I
Like
learned all
every
that.
guy playing an instrument had this like classic rock metal phase. I did.
Oh yeah. I learned a lot of like Iron Maiden and like
Mhm.
Leonard Skinner and Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam.
Yeah. Nine Inch Nails, Smashing
Nice.
Pumpkins,
Smashing Pumpkins.
Led Zeppelin. I was a huge Rush fan. I nerded
Oh
out on
yeah.
Rush pretty hardcore.
Didn't they have the double kick the double pedal kick drum for the I think their drummer had like two pedals for
I
the
think Neil Peart. I don't know if he had a double kick or not. He probably did. He had a pretty expansive kit.
Yeah.
Neil Peart was incredible. He was one of the best drummers ever.
Yeah.
Like regardless of genre. But I was definitely like one of those like progressive music like nerdy
Uh-huh.
people. Like I knew all the scales and like, and then in college I started taking a bunch of drugs and was playing in a speed metal band
Mm.
and like this '90s like girl pop band, and then this experimental rock band, and we would just like show up to the gigs and just jam and do like crazy stuff. That was really fun.
Mostly instrumental or
Yeah, that was like mostly instrumental, that band. Then there's like a little bit of vocals. And then I got really into hip hop and Aphex Twin and My Bloody Valentine and
Mm.
electronic music. And then just kind of got completely the opposite end of the like shredder, like nerdy guitar guy thing. And there was always like a punk undercurrent through all of this. Like my friends were punks. We played in punk bands when we were kids.
Yeah.
And like, well, I think we played with, gosh, who was the band? When we were like 16 or 17, we played this festival with Bowling for Soup. That's right.
Oh, Bowling for Soup.
And then in high school, we opened for Fuel.
Okay, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Bowling for Soup. I know of them because they played all the music for Phineas and Ferb, a TV show that was on
Really?
Disney when I was growing up.
That's awesome.
Their lead singer was a voice actor for it.
No way.
Yeah, so 1985, High School Never Ends. Yeah, I've listened to some Bowling for Soup in my day. They're
That's
good.
cool. Yeah, they're great. They're great. I played a gig with Buck Cherry. The singer of Buck Cherry was hiding backstage, like screaming in the room, like to get attention before they played. It was really funny. Trying to remember the other like bigger shows I did when I was a kid. But yeah, all of those. And I toured a lot. Played with my band Bloody Knives. That was like started that when I was like 29. That was like this shoegaze punk hybrid thing, and we toured a ton.
Was that the
like-
one that went to England?
Yes, yeah, we toured England twice, and we did the United States like I don't know how many times. The band we did before that was called the Joy Bus, and Joy Bus was like a more like Hot Snakes like, it was like Hot Snakes mixed with like Deftones
Okay.
mixed with like At the Drive-In and like, oh god, what's the name of that band? Trail of Dead. It's kind
Okay.
of like this conglomeration of like all those kind of like emo punk, post punk like
Mhm.
bands at the time. Bloody Knives was like My Bloody Valentine mixed with Motorhead, basically.
Okay.
And dark themes and drum and bass. I was like a huge drum and bass fan. And so as I was touring through that, I met this dude named William Faith. William has been in like a bunch of bands. He's a really, really good musician. and he was touring with this band called Conflict. Conflict was like one of the first punk bands ever. They were started in 1981. They were part of Crass. They were like part of like Colin lived at their compound, and they were all friends and stuff. And I got recruited to join that band, and I toured with Conflict for like 4 years, and that was super cool. It was pretty just crazy to like play with that kind of band that has that kind of audience.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened and everything kind of shut down. And also like during that time, like we were still doing Bloody Knife stuff, still are, but the like my career started to kind of take wind. I was on tour at one point, and just like my job was very difficult at the time. I managed a commercial bakery, and I was like working on the road and just like working all the time. Like very labor intensive and very mentally intensive and exhaustive.
Yeah,
So
probably all the bookkeeping and everything, shifts and everything like that. Was that managing the bakery?
Oh yeah, I did literally everything.
Yeah.
I drove. That was my main job, but I was also like general manager. So I was looking at everybody's stuff and making sure everything was running right. But I also did sales. I did customer service, and I did production, and I did cold call sales, and like everything, like logistics, like hiring, firing, just like all the jobs, fixing the equipment. It's great. It was an incredible experience, but it was also very difficult.
And how long were you doing that? When did you start that?
I started that, so I was doing residential construction before that, doing like remodels and stuff.
Okay.
And I had to leave in the housing crisis because we ran out of work.
Oh.
So that was probably like 2008, I want to say, 2008. So I got into the bakery around that time. And then I worked at the bakery until like 2017. That's when I started to work at Onnit.
Yeah.
Because I was on tour and I was like, man, I need to get back into photography. I'd done real estate photography before. I did virtual tours, which was like in 2003 or 4 for rent.com. And so I was driving to like houses and apartment complexes and doing, they didn't have 360 cameras then. They just had a tripod, and you would take like 12 pictures and then you'd stitch it together. You could go and like spin it in a circle. That was how advanced tech was in 2003. But I thought I could be good at photography. And so I saw an ad. This is one of those, like, when we get our like the entrepreneurial / like woo-woo people on the pod or in our world.
You're manifesting it?
Yeah. I manifested my job and on it. Or it called to me. I don't know. It was very mythical. It was definitely like a pull from the beyond, from the great beyond.
The universe put it on a silver platter for you.
Yeah, dude. Joe Rogan like ate something funny. It was like, oh, and then all of a sudden it was like, go work. But a friend of mine, Brandon Gray, who I knew from playing shows, he was at a lot of the beerling gigs and the wrestling shows I would go to that my friend Max would throw. And he posted on Facebook that they were looking for an intern at Onnit. And I was like, oh, sweet. And so like, can you video edit? And I was like, sure. Yes. And I'd like cut music videos, but I was very much just like winging it. And I pretty much was convinced I was going to get fired every day for like the first 6 or 7 months. But actually did really well. So the job was to do the Brand podcast and Aubrey Marx's podcast.
All the clip editing and video editing for that?
Yes, which is coincidentally, I know we're going to talk about this. That's where I met Ryan. So we can get to that next. That sequentially, that fits in our little storyline here.
Yes.
But yeah, my job was to edit the podcast and then to cut the clips and then add B-roll to the clips. And the very first clip that I did for Onnit was How to Cook a Steak by Ben Greenfield. And Ben Greenfield talked for 10 minutes about how to cook a steak. It was a very circuitous conversation. The dude was like going everywhere. But this is my first clip, and I'm like, this has to be amazing. So I've got 10 minutes of audio, and like I learned what B-roll was. I'm like, what's B-roll? Like, it's the images you put on the video. I'm like, oh, that's a bad impression of Brandon. Sorry, dude. But so I'm like going through YouTube and stealing pictures of like, people doing pictures.
Steak,
yeah. It looks really bad. And I cut through the audio, though. The audio was ridiculous. Like, there were so many little cuts. And I was, like, pushing all the little words across to make it sound like he said it. And so I took that 10 minutes of him talking and shoved it into a minute. and then put all like a ton of B-roll over it. The B-roll was wrong. He was like talking about a type of steak, and someone's in the comments like, "That's not that steak. It's this other steak." Like, oh, dude, like, and so like, oh man, and then it got 10 times the normal views that they got.
Wow.
So I was like, wow, like how, like really it worked? And then, so a lot of like, I think it's also another, so you asked me at the very beginning, young creators. Here's a good one. Don't judge your value off of your view count or how your stuff performs. Like does not, you need a platform. A platform will show you how good you are or how bad you are. Like where it'll tell you where you're at, but the platform will either elevate you or lower you. It's not always about you. Sometimes it's about and oftentimes it's about the people you're working for. As in a punk band, like just doing whatever I wanted, doing like crazy stuff. Like, we didn't have like a huge audience, but then I get to do video for Onnit. I do something that kind of sucks and it's like does really well. The platform elevated me. So it like even this last weekend, like the videos that I did for two of the people I work with, Eric Leah and Hannah Eden, got great views. And like they did well, but it's because their platforms are so strong and their brand identities are so strong. So yeah, like I think people get discouraged, but they also get egotistical, and you can't do either one. It's because it only has so much to do with you. You're kind of like, you're elevated by who you are around, and I think that's also something to consider when you're making making content, because it's not about you. It's about the person, especially if you're a photographer, videographer. It's about the other person. Like you can't do anything with the camera that is going to make that interesting. A lot of people are like, well, if I'm moving around and like do all this cool stuff, and that can help, but it's all about them. And even if you just hold it there, just steady, sometimes that's enough. Like, I kind of got off on a tangent there.
But no, I think it's good because that's the same thing that some of the best podcasters do, is they try to paint whoever is on in the best light possible to highlight them and their ideas, and they're a vessel for the other person, almost like just a platform to prop them up on.
Yeah, it's about the guest. Like it drives me nuts when I see a podcast and the host talks over the guest. Like, why'd you bring him on? You just have a solo cast, dude.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Yeah, but that is also from me, a person who does not talk enough or has not spoken enough on their podcast. Anyway, back to the line here. So, yeah, Ben Greenfield clip. That was my first clip for them, and that is where I met Ryan. Ryan was filming Aubrey's podcast and the brand podcast. And so like we were working together, and Ryan was just extremely helpful to me. I didn't know anything. And if it wasn't for Ryan and Pat helping me out, I definitely wouldn't be doing we wouldn't be having this conversation. So like, that's definitely something to, and just simple stuff, dude. Ryan is very good at having processes that work and then just like doing the right thing the right way. And I think one of my favorite Ryan stories is when we were filming Gary V. This is so funny.
On Aubrey Marcus?
Yeah. So yeah, Aubrey Marcus and Gary V are like hanging out or whatever. And it's podcast time, and I am on the other camera. Ryan usually would do both cameras, but like it's Gary V. And so we want to have like another cam up. And Gary V has like, this is in 2018, I want to say. Yeah. I think 2018. And Gary V is always ahead of the curve. He said that Onnit was a media company, and he was right. It was. I only understood how right he was about that as the years go on and as every company becomes a media company. But Gary brought like 5 dudes with him that are all, this is terrible to do in the clip, isn't it? Maybe I should not scratch my eye when I'm on my like Gary V story. Okay, restart. Gary V brought like 5 photographers in, and it was so chaotic because they're all like looking around, getting different shots, which I get because there's just so much content, But it was a very chaotic room, and I was just kind of nervous. I've always had this paranoia that the camera was going to shut off in the middle of a shoot, and it's never happened. But I still, every time, I'm like, oh, is it going to shut off? And so I'm just like watching the red dot the whole time. And I look over at Ryan, and he's just like, it's good, dude. Just like, whatever, who cares? And I've kind of like adopted that attitude throughout, and I've worked with a lot of people kind of like, at Gary V's level, and it's just, it's just normal. Like, there is no nervousness at all. So it's kind of the same thing. Like no imposter syndrome, no nothing anymore. It's just like, I'm here to do the job that I've done correctly over and over and over again. So
Yeah, building up, I suppose, a data set of success that's like, yeah, I've been here, I've done this before, I've set up. I guess for me, like learning how to set up a shoot in here it took like the first couple times I was like so hyper focused on every single camera angle. Like, did I get it right? Did I check everything? And then now it's pretty simple flow. And I think your point with the more relaxed you are, the more relaxed everyone else is going to be. And and that's the more important piece.
yeah, a lot of photography is vibes. Like, to sound like a hippie is
Yes.
true, man. You have to build trust with the person that you're photographing. They have to know that you're cool and you're not gonna like make them look bad, like whether on purpose or on accident, usually on accident. And I don't know how often I get the compliment. They're like, "You're such a good photographer." They have not even seen the photographs. It's just there's kind of like there's a knowing that they can tell that the photographs.
They can feel it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And when they feel it, they they give you more. They give you more of what you need to take better photographs. All that positive energy just like builds on itself, and that's like that's another big thing for creators. Like it's a lot of it's about energy, and not to sound like a total hippie, but you need to be real conscientious of who you're surrounding yourself with and their attitudes. I cannot do negative attitudes on set, man. I just don't have any time for it. Like things are going to be difficult, and you're going to have problems. You're going to have last second problems, like this weekend. We had that technical problem that we had to sort. But like we just, like there wasn't, oh man, like nobody gets all mad or like, oh, this sucks. Get all pouty. Like that doesn't help.
Yeah.
You just systematically remove variables until you find out what the problem is. And then you get everything ready. And it took us, like 5 minutes to sort that. So, yeah, I mean, like you're always going to have problems. It's just like you have to have the right attitude. And they didn't even notice. They like, Michael didn't even like realize that we had an issue.
Yeah.
They were just like having a good time. So yeah, job well done.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing creators do is they start like talking about the process with the other people. They don't care, dude. Like when you're working for a CEO or a business person, they want their mental space to be occupied with whatever they want it to be occupied with. They do not care about like any of your process. The less they know, the better. It makes them happy when they don't have to think about it. They're overjoyed. Like that oh great. And if you're done, like a lot of times like people come from an hourly background or like a working class background like me, and you just think that it's a time equation, and it is, but like it's not time spent with them. They want it the opposite. They want it done super fast, quickly and effectively. That's what like, because then they're like, oh man, you mean I could just go get coffee and like text my wife or whatever, or like try to run my other business or check whatever they do. Yeah,
millionaire things.
Yeah, weird billionaire things. Yeah. But yeah, that's what like you get the wrong idea of what these people want. You got to give people what they want. And that's what they really want is professionalism and being able to make good decisions under pressure in a short amount of time.
Yeah, it's flexibility, being adaptable under pressure. It's the key to a lot of things in general. But I wanted to comment on, you said Gary Vee said that Onnit was a media company. And this is a thread I want to pull on a little bit, is how you've seen, because Onnit was a supplement brand, gym, kind of fitnessy thing, and that developed into kind of a brand identity. And I think that's the trend now. I want to get into some of those trends. Where have you seen social media, content creation change as an industry since you started back in 2017?
Oh, wow. That's a huge question. Social media in 2017, I think one of the biggest first changes was the length of the clip. So if we're going to talk about video, which photo also have different opinions. I'm starting to get too mixed, but the length of the clip. So at first, 60 seconds was the length, and you just felt like you had to fill the 60 seconds. That was how you created like a high value clip for people. Then one thing I learned was I did this when I was a social media videographer. After I did the podcast, I moved up to social media videographer, and I would film the influencers and then cut edits for the influencers that we had. And I did this 15-second clip of this guy breakdancing, and it got like 10x the normal views. And it was so fast. I turned it in that day. I'm like, hey, dude, like, check it out. And then they're like, so and so's at the building. And then boom. And then all these views. And so that was the next thing that happened. It was like the short form. That was the first time I realized that was going to be the trend. Because again, the platform, I was able to but it was so, now that's so common. Like, you shoot the event, have that little clip, and then, the timing of it, like, has to be super fast. Well, that wasn't really part of the equation back then. It was so slow because video editing came from a film and television background. Social media just didn't work like that. It didn't operate at the pace it does now. Now you have a phone that can do a decent enough job a lot of times, and you have editing apps. You didn't have that. Editing apps are all on the computer. So there was this very fragmented process. Now everything is very streamlined. Shoot the thing on your phone. You can shoot the thing on your phone, edit on your phone, post. Like, that can be. There's even other editors that just do a bad edit for you, post that. Sometimes that's enough. So the speed at which things happen has changed a lot. The volume has changed a lot. There's just so much out there now, which makes the content more important. And also the storytelling aspect is that's the new thing. And I've realized how important that is. So Hannah Eden, someone I work with, I shot some stuff for her for IROX, and I sent her a reel. And on the reel, she added this cool storyline to it that's just text and so song and text. And the combination of that storyline with the visuals hooks you through the whole video. You're just watching it and trying what's the next thing it's going to say. And she doesn't even talk. It's just super cool, super effective. Storytelling, talking head stuff. Now I'm seeing a lot of proof of life, and the kind of flashy clips that we used to do that were a big deal in 2018, not that big a deal anymore. And that's because a lot of that has been templatized, and we've seen a lot of flashy clips for things that aren't flashy.
Yeah.
I see these event things where it's just people talking and they cut it like it's an action. What are you doing, dude? Why do we have 20 fast shots of someone doing this or laughing? It's so chaotic. It's I'm being attacked by this, just kind of chill, gathering. It's such an odd style.
Do you think it was part of the film industry too? Because I remember a bunch of movies, Marvel movies, had just this really herky-jerky, quick clipping, action scenes that were going on around that time too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And to Onnit specifically, there are two parts of the film industry that helped create that brand. Well, there's Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
There's Joe Rogan on there's the center of it all. And then there was the Limitless, and that movie where so-and-so got super smart by taking drugs, and then 300. So the combination of the Spartan workout with the brain enhancing pill that made the jocks and the nerds overlap, and then that unholy union sparked modern fitness and wellness.
And Joe Rogan.
Yeah, with Joe Rogan right there in the middle. The jocks and the nerds finally united, dude. They were sworn enemies in the 80s. There are movies about that, dude. They're the nerds over here and the jocks over here. The nerds, it's about that. That's literally the movie. And then but that was the big cultural shift. Nobody could have predicted that. I didn't think that all these jock dudes are going to start tripping drugs in the jungle. That's so wild. You couldn't have convinced me that was going to happen in 2005. But Aubrey Marcus saw down the road and was yeah, dude, we're totally going to do that. And then told, hey, Joe, what do you think about Fleshlight? And then Onnit was born. Just all this chaos. But that's my favorite. One of my favorite parts is just the pure chaos of that brand. And just all the things that never should have happened that ended up happening. It's just so wild. And one of those once in a lifetime kind of things. Because on a more serious note, entertainment changed forever due to Joe Rogan and coincidentally Tom Green. The advent of the podcast and the shifting of people's attention span from television to the internet, that's a huge cultural thing. If we still have schools in 40 years, they'll definitely be talking about that. Joe Rogan will probably be in the textbook, dude.
Yeah. Being, gosh, how long is it? Because he's in 2,500 episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience at this point.
Who is?
Joe Rogan. He's got 2,500 episodes. He's been doing podcasts for forever, and that transition probably around would you say like 21, 22 is when podcasts, I guess kind of during COVID, everyone just
Yeah.
had free time to listen to stuff, and podcasts just went through the roof. What was it like? Was it 100 million that Joe Rogan signed with Spotify around
Yeah.
2021?
Yeah, crazy money.
Yeah.
And yeah, that definitely like was the big cultural mark where they're like, how do you like that caffeine-free daughter with
I
7
don't
grams of
feel high right now on caffeine. I'm just smooth, mellow. Feel like my sled day right after this, pushing and pulling that sled. I'll be able to get through it because of that right there. The collagen right there.
Yeah, it's 7 grams of Icelandic marine collagen.
Icelandic marine collagen.
Yes, that's the best collagen on the market. That really is the bougiest energy drink I've ever had in my life. It's very so particularly formulated.
Yeah, you've
And-
got organic half everything on here. Organic
Oh, yeah.
natural flavor, filtered water, collagen.
Yeah, intentionally. That was
Yes.
what I say, very intentionally formulated.
And then specifically mandarin orange flavor, not just your generic orange flavor. It's
I
even
like
got
the-
mushroom fiber.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, mushroom
cool.
fiber extract.
I like the purple one best.
The purple one is good. Purple one, the strawberry is pretty good. This one, the mandarin orange is probably my least favorite, but it's still pretty good.
I think the mandarin orange is the most accurate mandarin flavor I've ever had.
That is true. I don't even know if I've had anything else mandarin before.
Right.
Mandarin orange. Yeah, it's just
It's probably hard to do.
yeah. I sometimes I wonder how you chemically derive pure watermelon flavor from a watermelon. How do you get watermelon flavor?
Do we want to know? It's probably something like beaver's nuts or something like all the other stuff. It's like horrible. They have to like kill baby chickens or like
And then get their toe jam extract and then filter it through something.
yeah, dude, yeah. Yeah, or it's just like cow anus or like it's like some sort of ball sack gland. Something that's just god awful that you don't want to know. And you're like, well, it tastes perfect. I'll drink it. Why not?
So drink daughter water that does not have cow anus in it.
No, dude. Daughter has only the purest ingredients for real. It really does.
It's
Yeah.
elite. What a good side tangent. I think having the product in the shot that gets good segue into Sky.
Oh yeah. So, my meeting Sky story is a good one because so Sky would be when he started on it, I would see him on the side of the road on the little scooter, like buzzing up to work with this like look on his face, and so I would like pull over like, hey dude, do you want to ride? Because he was just like the dude that worked for Aubrey. That was all I knew about Sky. But like Sky was cool, and so I didn't, he's like riding the scooter. Like why is this happening? And so I pick him up and like take him to work. And so that was like how we kind of met. And he was doing something for Aubrey. I think he was handling his ads. I think he was handling his ads, and Taylor was like teaching him, or he was like one of the assistants. I couldn't keep up with Aubrey's stuff. It was so weird, like as he just had like so many different people, and they were like kind of like vibe hires a lot of times, and so I didn't know like who was doing what all the time. Whenever Aubrey like moved into Aubrey World, because Aubrey and Onnit were separated at that time,
Oh, okay.
and so that was when I started working for the brand instead of working for Aubrey, because Aubrey and the brand like they didn't split, but they kind of like started to
Changed identities, separated a little bit.
they separated the identities so that they could evolve both brands separately. Aubrey was always the highest performing influencer for Onnit. Like he was a big deal, so he was important. But his personal brand had gone in a very different direction, and we were just like wanting to shoot, people doing cool stuff, like let's shoot more sports and whatever. So yeah, that allowed both of those things to evolve. But I guess the point there is that Ryan and when Sky came in, they were still a little bit separated from the part that I was doing. I don't know if I was still editing the podcast at that point or not. I think I might have been. But I was definitely doing the social media by that point. But yeah, and then Sky left. I think he left before I left. But then he called me up to do the podcast studio with him and Ryan. And
When was that? When did Sky leave, and then when did he call you up to start the podcast studio?
Sky would have left before me, so it had to have been like, I think he was out before COVID, maybe? I can't remember, honestly. That whole time period is such a blur.
Yeah.
I bet it's a blur for everybody. Um,
But yeah,
um,
you said they already had a bunch of chaos. It was just chaos company at that time. And then COVID hit. So that makes sense.
oh yeah, yeah. And then it was like two chaos companies.
Yeah.
And then and then COVID. But yeah, we started the pod studio in 25 or end of 24. God, I don't know how long it's been now. I also cannot keep track of the past 3 years. It's just this huge blur of like a whole bunch of clients and traveling. Um, but yeah, I think that's when we started the pod studio. Yeah.
Yeah. So you transition, because Ryan stuck with Aubrey the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sky dipped off to do his own thing. You'll learn about that when we have Sky in here next week. And then you split off, and then I suppose took on more videography, shooting fitness people. What were you doing kind of in the in-between period?
So as soon as I got laid off from Onnit, I had a couple friends that were like, "Oh, that's awesome! You should work for us." And so I just walked into my business. I did all of the media for this company called Texas Wine Club. I did all their paid ads, social media, web, like just all the photo, all the videos. So that was cool because I got to do the entirety of it. I got to do the strategy and the creative direction, and then shoot everything. I hadn't shot a lot of photography then, so that job was really cool. And then I shot for my friend's brand called Lava Controls, which is like an audio-visual company. So a lot of like corporate stuff and tech. We shot at like the Wells Fargo office and Major League Baseball office. So I was like traveling a lot. Shot for this supplement brand called Complement. So a lot of traveling like to Denver. Shot some in Austin as well. And then I kind of got into a lot of like health and wellness stuff. I shot like a million breathworks, a bunch of masterminds, did some corporate stuff for Crunch Fitness, did a lot of like influencer content. So just more fitness, more brand. I've done so much of that. I've done gotten into some real estate stuff, and God, like I did a caviar company. Yeah, I did a record label recently. So yeah, so many different paths that I've kind of like gotten to dip into. But I'm really good at shooting like action stuff, people that are moving around and making it like look really cool. So I've just had a ton of practice at making things look good.
Why do you think fitness has overlapped so much with social media? Because you talked about that was a big thing with Onnit, was this kind of the jocks plus nerds plus content creation plus Joe Rogan. Why do you think the fitness space is one of the biggest parts of social media influencers and everything like that?
Is it one of the biggest spaces, or is it because we're like immersed in it?
It could be because we're immersed in, but I feel like it is a significant portion.
I agree. Yeah, that's a really good question. I think part of it is the COVID thing. Like everybody started working out in 2020. I also think that the entrepreneur / fitness mindset is very similar. I filmed some stuff for Founders Only, which is Eric Hinman and Wyatt Ewing. I think his last name. That's their group, which is really cool. Like just a lot of founders and businessmen all kind of like sharing what helps them and like, starting businesses and kind of connecting and figuring out how they can help each other. But the overlap there for the like high achieving mindset is just so common. And they all like the same thing that's like makes you want to like develop a company and stick it out for how many ever years, and that risk tolerance and that comfort with like really uncomfortable situations. That's such a cliche thing now, but like it's true. You get used to things that normal people are not used to, and then you start seeking that. And so it's like, well, my business life is super chaotic, but I wrangled that together. I made that work. Like I kind of pulled something together from nothing. And so why not run a marathon? The kind of endurance that it takes, or why not go box? Like why not go do high rocks? The kind of like high achieving mindset is exactly the same. So I think that's a huge part of the overlap. Those two things.
Yeah, it's interesting that what you were saying there makes me think of the David Goggins, Jocko Willink kind of thing as well. The Navy SEAL partial tie-in, because that's like, I know people who haven't worked out much that still love that content for a similar kind of thing of just driving. We're going to keep on going, keep pressing, even when it sucks. We're just going to keep on carrying the logs in the boats is the the David Goggins thing. So it's interesting, like that all seemed to coalesce right around that 2020, and then 2020 allowed that stuff to all lock in. It's lock in together. It's such an interesting time period. Then we're 5 years later. Now you start a podcast studio.
Right. Yeah, with a lot of those people.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I've got a couple real estate investor clients now, and they also follow the people that are in the fitness. So there's overlap there. It's so funny as I follow them online and like, oh, you know Eric? Like I shop for Eric. Like y'all follow each other. It's so funny. They're like, oh, that guy's so cool. Like, yeah, like, but it's funny that there's that overlap too, but it's still the mindset. Like it just makes sense. And also fitness is something that everybody can do. So it's an easy equalizer. Everybody could talk about, about fitness. And you also have a lot of like positive mindset people there too. So not a whole lot of negativity necessarily, which can be, which is good, especially like when you have a lot of like negative things happening. Like every business has a bunch of stuff that's a pain in the butt. Like anytime we've blown up the WhatsApp chat, like it's something really annoying, and just not being able to like, oh man, like not just go like that attitude. None of those people have that. They're just like, okay, how do we fix it? What do we need to do? How do we make this better? Like it's just a different approach. And when you work out every day, it helps cement that mindset. And this comes from somebody who did not work out. Of course, I was doing manual labor, so it's a little bit different. But yeah, just like, putting yourself in that situation and powering through, and like that stuff translates.
It's a lot of it centers around control what you can control, because you'll wake up on any given day and for whatever reason you just had a bad night of sleep and you're still going to go work out. And I think that's a lot of it is controlling the variables that you can't control, because we can't, if an SSD card just starts like flopping out there, we can't, it's like, that's something we can't control, but we have to adapt to it.
Right. We have no control over that.
Yeah.
But we've built a fail-safe. So like that trips up. We still got the cameras. So like there's redundancies in place and things you just have to think about, which goes back to the very beginning of the pod. This is one of the boring things. Like, it's like, cool, it works. And then let's get in business. I mean, there's something to be said by just like chaotically rambling forward rather than doing the thing where you just like hesitate and never start. But there's also a lot more to be said by having done it before and trying to like make a repeatable system that is like as easy as possible to be functional in a long-term scenario. That's what you want.
Yeah. Yeah. How was the call that Sky gave you and Ryan? What was the conversation like? Why did this studio get built? What was he thinking at the time? What was going on? What was the origin of the studio?
Well, Sky called me and he was like, hey, dude, you remember when you used to pick me up at Onnit? I was like, yeah, dude. He was like, that was cool, man. And they just like, hey, me and Ryan are going to start a studio. We thought like we'd ask you too, basically. I was like, yeah, dude, let's do it. And so, that was how that began. We all feel the same way about podcasting, as far as podcasting being one of the most important ways for people to communicate. You get to tell your story and you own your IP. You own your story. Nobody can manipulate it or change it. You have your own platform to say what you want to say. Freedom of speech, like fundamental stuff. Like I think all of us feel that strongly about it. And also like being able to be part of the creative ecosystem at a beginner level. Being able to like give people the platform to like make their stuff look good and just be part of their process. Help empower them to make their stuff. I guess it's really satisfying. Because
someone gave you guys those opportunities.
Yeah. So it's cool it's just cool to be on the other side of it, and to exist in the whole creative ecosystem in Austin, to be part of just the bigger picture of what's going on. All those things I think are really cool.
Yeah. So that was late 2024 is about the timeline as well, from what I heard with Sky, because it was run by Squatch at the time. This building that we're in was built by Squatch Fitness. And then I think Sky, I don't know exactly, I'll get into that with him, how that conversation went of switching over control and ownership. And then
I don't know about that. I mean, that's all right. They were trying to do a self-service model and they were having difficulty with it. And so when they talked to Sky, you're like, hey, dude, we've got all the stuff here. And so we just came in and kind of started taking the operation over. And just me and Ryan really concentrated pretty hard on the customer service angle and getting systems in place that were repeatable and easy and functional and worked for like a wide variety of people. So we basically beta tested the room for 6 months, 7 months, something like that before we hired anybody, just because we wanted to go through all the problems ourselves first before we brought someone else in. Didn't want to be trying to problem solve from the back. And so it seemed like we had a small built-in audience or small built-in customer group. So being able to just serve those people before we kind of put it out into the world gave us an opportunity to just streamline everything and get things at a functional place so that we could scale in a manner that was not chaotic.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Ryan, I think it was his brother, right, that built the bookshelves and everything. And I think my understanding is that kind of came in around June last year. Wasn't there like a relaunch party for the studio?
Yes. Yeah. Where they built the bookshelves and they like built this out a lot nicer. It was a huge improvement from the other studio. And that was kind of like the final puzzle piece for us.
Was the space.
Yeah. Just to get, because like the space was fine, but it wasn't really cool. And now it's like really cool. And also we have the curtain. We got the curtain set up. And just thinking of other things that we can do. You know, we've been thinking about the green screen thing. There's other stuff, customizable sets. There's things that like we could also integrate into the process. But the relaunch party, kind of that was us opening to the world, basically opening to the general public, instead of just like the small contained group of people that we had been serving since the studio started.
Yeah, and we're almost 9 months or so into that process. We're coming. It's what, month number 4, June's number 6. So we're getting to a year of that being
Cool.
a thing. Yeah.
So I have to have another party, basically.
We'll have to have another party. 1 year anniversary of the relaunch.
Well, it's starting to book out too.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It seems that we're a lot busier now.
Yep. March was our best month, I think, since you guys built the studio and or took it over.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
That's outstanding. I love to hear that.
Yeah, we had, I think it was a 30% of all available booking time booked out.
Nice.
Turned a profit and everything. Had a bunch of traffic through here. Got a number of paid subscribers that are going to be part of the membership program that just keep on coming back in. Right before this podcast was the Cardman podcast. That's Morgan and his buddy Mert. They do the Pokemon card business podcast out of here.
That's so cool. Yeah, I love the different niches of people.
Yeah.
Like, I would have never thought that we would get a Pokemon thing, and that's like, I mean, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. That's part of being part of the creative ecosystem. That's so interesting to me.
Yeah,
that exists.
It's so cool. And their second podcast got over 2,000 views, just like right off the bat. Their first one got 1,000, second one got 2,000.
Good for them. Watching other people win.
Yep.
That's another one that young creators screw up with. Like trying to. I have one person, I'm not going to name names, that I get suspicions is kind of a hater that has been in my general sphere. And I've developed I'm super cooperative with people and respectful. I'm excited when I find somebody who's better than me because there's so much for me to learn, and they're the only person I can learn it from. So for me, it's like I'm not competitive. Like I'm competitive, but I'm not trying to cook them.
It's in a collaborative effort.
Very much so. Yeah. And just letting them shine. Like when they're good, it's like, oh, look at how good they're doing. And that makes me happy. It's good. However, when you deal with some silly hater that's got that attitude, and I can tell when I'm got one of those in the sphere, dude. It's like, how'd you get in my orbit with your bullshit? And then I just want to cook them. It's a mixture of that and then Don Draper, I don't think of you at all. It's always like, oh man, are you serious? There's so many obvious signs of try hard, self-contained, just no, it's not even, they're creator confrontational. It's I get done with boxing and they're just yeah. Oh my God, dude. What are you doing right now? We could be having fun. And instead, you gotta be like that. Yeah, it's oh man, I don't know why I got on the hater sphere. I did. Damn, dude, that was such a good clip.
We'll find something in there.
Yeah, I was there. But yeah, I did put the cook on this guy, and it felt great. Uh,
I'll just clip out that 40 seconds of the okay, where we connect, and then boom, we'll end right there. Yeah, I cooked that guy.
I cooked the guy. It felt great. Like I don't indulge in pettiness like that too much, but when I do, I just eat my fill, dude. Like cherry cake pettiness, like every with ice cream, heat it up. Every every bite's more delicious as my view count goes up and his stays the same. Anyway, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm
your
done.
diss track in.
Oh yeah, every time. I go like, oh, there's another 10,000 more views that I got than that guy. Oh yeah. Listen and learn. But also like this other dude that whose name I'm not going to name, who I got to work with, like, who's like, he's a little better than I am, and I like learned like so much stuff. Also, like seeing someone else do the thing you've done, that's a really cool thing to learn from someone who's very experienced. Is when you see them have the same problem or do something the same way, it's like, oh, okay, I was doing that right. So you're really good like confirmation. So another one for young creators, like when you're with somebody who's better than you, be excited about it, and then like look for confirmation of things you're doing right, or like maybe other things you could do wrong, especially when you're young and smart. It's so easy when you're young and smart to want to assert yourself because you want to prove yourself. That's what I did. That's how I felt like back then. But yeah, my attitude towards that changed for the significantly better. And if I had done that more when I was younger, that would have been a huge advantage.
Yeah, it's something that like every day it feels like I'm interacting with someone who's teaching me something new, and you could like, and that's something I've wrestled with at times too, because I'm one of those young smart people,
Right.
and it's that kind of self-defense mechanism. It's like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about right now. I'm in a podcast chair looking at you in the camera right now with my collagen that you don't have that you need to go buy.
7 grams of Icelandic marine collagen.
7 grams.
If you drink like 20 of them a day, I think some of the daughter do. I think Eric does. Eric Leha. I know that Eric, he drinks like a ton of those.
Yeah.
Hannah does too. Like their fandom's legit, dude. They suck those things down all day long, and their skin looks amazing. So,
and you're the one photographing it. So.
I am. I'm like, damn, guys. Like, I should steal more of their stuff for the studio. for me, I need some help with my my skin tones.
So, other than drinking 15 daughters to make your skin look better, what are some big levers that early content creators can pull that are usually missed?
Oh man, I hate to recommend free work because like it's just such a bad road sometimes, and it's like it's always recommended by people who have a ton of money. It's like you should work for free, and they're like a millionaire, they're like multimillionaire. Like, okay, are you working for free? But like it does open doors. But like if you're gonna do work for free, you should work for somebody you want to. So try to do that. But just getting the reps in. Especially as a videographer, content creator, artist in general, is like doing the thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and just figuring out how to get into that, and then understanding the business side of everything first. There are so many videographers and content creators that do not understand the business side, so that's key. Those would be 2 levers that I would push. Your network, like get yourself into the room. Kind of to like your speech earlier when we were talking about being young and smart. The fact that you're in the room says a lot. Like everybody's listening to you already. So like you're getting to be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
So like that's a big deal. Getting yourself into the room with these people. I've learned so much by all the people that I've worked with. Like there's no value I could put on it. And especially in all these different diverse industries. Because they're all a little bit different, and they're all also a little bit the same. Like the marketing of a real estate investor is very different than the marketing of a fitness brand, but it's also not. And what that guy does well, like in this podcast, like his clip cutting voice, on point, dude. What he does well is the same thing that any influencer has to do well. So there's a lot of like overlap there. When you start to see the overlap, then you just become better at all the things overall. So it's just experience is huge. So you just have to get experience however you can get it. I would recommend being cheap instead of free, because free shows no value, but cheap, like I'll do your photos for $100. That's fair. Like that's cool. You go out, shoot all their stuff, and then you've got portfolio, and
But you
then
did professionally. Yeah.
yeah, and then like because you're not going to be good the first time, but also charging kind of it filters you. It filters your customers because now you're only going to get people that are worth photographing. Not trying to say somebody who doesn't pay isn't, but like someone who does definitely sees that as something that they need, and so they're going to approach it differently. So instead of people like photograph your friends and family, well, they're not models. Like photograph somebody who needs photography. Like find a fitness influencer or find anybody. Yeah.
That's great there. Let's see. Back to this is clip time.
Hmm.
That was a good clip there. What's the fastest way to waste money in content creation?
What is the fastest way to waste money in content creation? Hire a huge crew. So there's different things here though. So what's the fastest way to waste money in content creation for a brand? Hire one of these bloated agencies that like has one of the worst ads I've ever seen had a guy on the crew that held the camera for the camera operator. Why is he here? Like, what is going on right now? They've got like all these worthless people who aren't doing anything. They're not worthless as people. They're worthless in their jobs because there's just nothing to be done. You do not need a Hollywood set to shoot an ad or to shoot content. Like you just don't, you need, even though a lot of people try to bare bones it, that's also kind of rough, especially on the photographer. Being somebody who does that, I know that when I'm with a crew, I get a better result. So that's another way to really bone it on the money is to underhire. You like, okay, let's say I'm shooting video and photo an event. I cannot shoot the video and the photo at the same time. If I shoot the video and take stills, they're not going to look as good as if I shoot the photography. You need a photographer and a videographer for the optimum result. The result below that, no matter how good the photographer and videographer is not going to be as good as having two people. That's why they do that. But you don't need 5 people to do 2 jobs. The easiest way to waste money as a new creator is to buy expensive gear. It's stupid. If you can't use it, who cares? You suck, period. Learn how to use the camera first and then buy a good camera. And when you're buying cameras, buy the lens first, camera second. Camera matters. I have a Sony FX3. It enables me to handle everything that I need to handle. I love that camera. However, I shot with a Sony A7 III for the majority of the Onnit stuff. And it looked awesome. We color graded it really well at a very nice lens. If you're going to dump money somewhere, dump it on the lens.
Awesome. Let's see. This was a question from JJ out there.
Uh-oh.
What's the wildest thing some of your videographer clients have asked you to do?
Oh, huh. Let's see. So that we'd have to like really clarify what wild is. I have not done any OnlyFans or porn. I haven't been asked.
Okay.
So let's just get that right out the bat. I'm not against all this. I'm just saying that that has not fallen into my lap yet. I guess there's probably OnlyFans.
Quite literally.
Yeah, quite literally. I'm sure there's like fitness OnlyFans overlap. There has to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I ran up a mountain with an ultra runner. That was pretty crazy. I filmed a triathlete and I had to swim, bike, and run with them. That was pretty wild.
So you did an Ironman with a camera.
Yeah, basically. I mean, doing all this fitness stuff, I have to do the thing with them for that amount of time. So I've had to stay very fit to be able to keep up with these people. They are better athletes than me. I think probably the thing that is the craziest and maybe the most impressive to people is my ability to walk backwards. I used to practice sprinting backwards. And I was at the track in South Austin. I'm trying to remember the school, but the high school football team would be like working out. They'd be looking at me like, what is he doing? I was doing 100-meter sprints backwards to build, which I know looks so weird. And but like I can walk backwards and shoot all the time, and that's how I get like really cool shots. And I can like hold the camera with one hand and look back and like do the thing and not lose them in the camera, keep the camera steady. Like I was shooting high rocks this last weekend, and I had to do these like long scrolling shots, and there's like no movement on the camera. I'm not looking at the shot. I'm looking to make sure I'm not going to run over someone's grandma, like trying to cheer their kid on. You know, like that's what I'm trying to avoid. I'm trying to be like, you know, a decent person and not like. So yeah, I think those are like probably the. I did go to like a place in Mexico that was definitely a grow field because they had sniper towers, and so we're walking along the field like out in Mexico, and like we're driving. It gets more and more remote, and I'm shooting for the wine company, and it's a vineyard. And so we get in past the gate that has all these glass shards and barbed wire over the fence, which is probably like 15 feet tall. And then we're going through all the fields and through all the grapes, and like there's the first sniper tower, and then there's the airstrip, and then there's the next sniper tower. I'm like, damn. And then there's a bunch of like pit bull puppies. And you know what and so they're asking the guy who bought clearly was not he bought this place, probably government auction or who knows what goes on. But yeah, that was pretty wild. I think I feel like if I keep talking, I'll be like, oh yeah. And then there was that super weird thing. But I mean, we could probably stop there for now. I mean, there was Onnit in general. All
Yeah.
of that. I filmed Cowboy Cerrone. He was super drunk. And it was the first time I'd ever used a gimbal, and I didn't know how to use it. And so that was probably one of the wilder, more chaotic shoots, and it was awesome. And then they didn't use the footage, dude. Cowboy Cerrone was like, if you don't like Alpha Brain, then fuck you. That's one of the greatest ads I've ever seen in my life. And of course they didn't run it because Onnit was in a safer era at that time. But yeah, that was also super fun.
That's awesome. Alrighty, let's see here. That I had ChatGPT help me write questions here.
My best friend.
Yep. Yes, you mentioned chat pretty frequently.
Yeah, me and chat. We're
that and the monkey.
Yo, Punch. Which monkey? I have a serious monkey obsession. Shouldn't have gone there, dude. Harambe first. So when Harambe died, everything got shifted off kilter. I am thoroughly convinced that the death of Harambe popped us onto another timeline, and we've just been going poorly ever since, dude. And so when Punch showed up, Punch the monkey, who's the one that I keep showing you, that's the next great hope, dude. Like Harambe was basically God, and Punch is Jesus. And if something happens to Punch, dude, it is over for us. We're gonna shift onto the grimmest possible reality. So we've got to protect that fucking monkey, dude. I swear to God, dude. They've got to save Punch. I hope that Harambe is in heaven looking down on Punch as they mercilessly murdered Harambe for no reason. It was such a like portrait of human negligence, and it's like a bigger version of us like ruining the world because like the baby, like didn't the baby fall in the cage? Then Harambe didn't hurt it, and they're like, oh well, we got to shoot the monkey. It's procedure, and then they kill Harambe. That and like the particle accelerator, same time. Those two things combined fucked the entire world up, dude. I am thoroughly convinced. As the only conspiracy theory I 100% believe is those two actions. So, dude, Punch must be saved at all costs. Give him his plushie. Let him be accepted by the troop. It's really important to me personally. I can relate to a degree, but my mom loved me. Like my mom and aunt played with me like a baby, like a child or like a toy while I was a child. So like, you know, my bullying was different. Poor Punch was like abandoned by his parents and like it's a terrible story. But so many people relate and want to like take care of him. So I feel like we've evolved since Harambe because there were plenty of people who were like, well, you know, he touched a child. They're like, you know, with the like stupid rule. Well, I mean, it makes sense to me. Like, are you being serious? That's where we fail as a culture, that we can't protect this beautiful gorilla, and they just want to like execute it. Like, well, those are the rules. Like, what kind of people are we? Anyway, what was the question? You started talking about Punch.
Well, I think I got out of that what I needed.
Okay. And then the Harambe path. Yeah,
Yes.
sorry. We're talking about my monkey obsession.
Yeah. Oh, that was great.
Is that clippable?
Yeah, I think if we get like the overlay content of Punch and then Harambe.
You have no idea how happy that would make me. Yeah, like,
Give me the footage and we will make it happen.
I'll find the footage, dude. Punching Harambe. Oh, I found a meme the other day. I was looking up punching Harambe memes, and there was like Harambe looking down on Punch. Anyway, that's what I do in my spare time.
Yeah.
I work obsessively and look at Punch and Harambe.
That's what keeps you going. Is I'm doing this for you.
I'm doing this for you, Punch, Harambe. This is because they put you down, dude. For no reason. It was.
I will live at your fighting spirit. Your spirit will live through me.
Yeah, dude. Look at Harambe just like sitting there chilling. Anyway.
And then now you're just sitting here chilling in the podcast studio.
Yep.
Alrighty. Who should start a podcast and why?
Oh no. God, nobody. Just kidding.
That's not good for business saying that.
That is bad for business. And I don't believe that either. Man, I think that more funny and fun people should be starting podcasts. I think that like podcasts skewed serious from the get. And I think it would be more fun to anybody who wants to do something funny. I think it would be good. I think podcasts that are very much not focused around money would be outstanding, or like optimization. I think we could use like a little, like, I mean, obviously I love all that stuff. I do all that stuff, but like we've skewed so hard towards that. I feel like we should skew the other way. I feel like we've forgotten how to have fun in general and could really use a lot more of that. So I think if you want to have a fun podcast, then I think that would be a good one. I think we've got a lot of the other stuff. It doesn't even necessarily need to be fun-y, but fun, like Pokemon cards. Like there's a reason they got 2,000 views on their first go. That's fun. Like those people can all like dork out about it. And like if you're on some niche thing, if you have the weirdest interest that you think nobody else likes this, no, I promise you, dude, like 50 people like it. Start a podcast and see if you can, if it's not something, like if it's something cool. Like, I don't want, like all the like little Andrew Tates, like just like, they can all like do that by themselves. They don't, all of them should not start a podcast. People that cannot add should not start a podcast. And like a baseline of intelligence, they should all just like take a step back. Yeah, more fun people, more funny people. I would love to see somebody's like wholesome mother start a podcast. Wouldn't it be hilarious? Like when they're just like
talking about family recipes and family memories, and that time grandpa did a little dance in front of grandma, and
yeah. As the world becomes this like big bunch of just noise and nonsense, I think like the peace of the family and friend unit, or chosen family unit, like let's just push on that. Like, like all this stupid AI crap that no one wants. That's the antidote. It's the actual stuff that people really do want, real connection, not all this nonsense and quackery. And the more that comes out, I think the more that people are going to like shift that way.
I think this is time for the final question. What's your favorite podcast and why?
Oh, that's so easy, dude. My favorite podcast is All the Smoke. I think All the Smoke is by far my favorite because they treat something that's like, they treat a sacred object in a common way. So they take the NBA and all the like drama and glamour and all the kind of elusive kind of star power stuff, and they make it sound like a job. Because to them it is a job, and I think it's so interesting when it's reframed in that context. Anything can be interesting, but professional sports requires so much, and they don't talk about that at all. And the way that professional athletes are treated is really, really interesting, and they talk about that. So like I just love that I can listen to any of it. I'm not even I don't even watch basketball that much anymore, if at all. But I am a basketball fan, and I am like a sports fan. I know about those people. And the Malice at the Palace, I personally thought was one of the greatest moments in NBA history. I was so thrilled that they finally went back at the fans, dude. Like the fans deserved it so much. Like this fat dude in the audience, like, fuck you, bitch. Like, you need to do the thing for me, bitch. Fuck you. And then they finally got bam right in the face. Yes. Finally. Like they're sitting there harassing these professional athletes. They're at work, dude. No respect. And no respect for the entirety of the time through professional sports. Like, what are we doing? And then they got mad at the athletes for like, no, dude, I was watching it when it happened. And it was like, whoa, are they going up in the stands? And so those dudes, like, like being part of that also makes it super cool. Because I know that one of the guys involved is one of the two hosts. So, yeah, all the smoke.
All the smoke.
All the smoke. Love all the smoke. I'll always love all the smoke.
Awesome. Well, and I suppose you got to watch this podcast.
Yes. Anything at Modern Stoa
Yep.
Podcast Studio puts out. Podcast Studio Austin. We have a great range of clients, dude.
Yeah.
We have so many interesting people.
Yep.
Sean's going to be working here more now.
Yep. I Am Redemption. He'll be around.
Yep. Yeah, I was talking to him earlier. Yeah, dude, that's my favorite part about the studio, aside from being able to create a culture. This is our little thing.
Yep.
And that's like really, really cool to me. But to be part of the larger culture is also cool because just where the Venn diagram overlaps.
Yeah.
With us and then all of their little circles.
Yep.
And just being able to kind of like touch on all that, like it's in a non-creepy way that, unlike how I said it, is
we're
really
touching on all the people.
Yeah, we're touching on the people. There is no good way of saying that. Like, yeah, as we touch on our clients. Jesus, don't run that as an ad. That is not an ad. The heroin needle's as far as we can go, dude.
You got a lot of compliments for that, by the way.
What were they?
The heroin ad one.
Really?
I think Onnit. Was it Onnit?
Oh, that's correct.
Or correct.
I saw that.
Correct. It was like Preston behind the camera or in front of the camera this time.
I thought my acting was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of convincing. I was angry.
Yeah.
I thought, I remember this one, I was trying to act like this one homeless dude that I met one time. I was in traffic and he like came up to me and shook my hand, but he like grabbed my hand really hard and like stared at me. Like it was this mixture of like desperation and anger, but also like kind of love too. It was like he just really like needed that moment with me. I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? I was like, is he going to let go? And then like the light turned and I was like, are we cool? Is he going to like fuck it? And then he like let go, like walked off. And I was like, what a freak. But also like super high. God knows what he was on. But it was cool. It was a fun moment. But I was remembering him and I was like, I'm going to channel that guy. And so, yeah, I went back. I did like, I don't know how good my acting was, but I did like act in college. So I sort of know how to do it, but I mainly used that to learn how to direct. So I think like, I think direction wise, I did pretty well for the thing. So.
Yes. The used car sales ad is actually crushing it. Once we started putting it as a reel, like we've added in the past month, which I think we launched the ad late March. Just in the last month, we've added 100 followers on the Instagram page.
Nice.
And probably 50 or 60 since we launched the ad.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear that. Yeah. Getting Ray like more coked out, dude.
Yes.
No. Even crazier.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Getting that going. And, just the way we're supposed to interact. I thought we did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
We did a pretty good job.
Yeah. We're going to have him after we shoot Sky's podcast next week. We're going to have him in order to use all the footage that we got at the sauna, the cold plunge, and at the gyms. We're going to start this series where it's like, I bet your podcast studio doesn't have, and then boop, he's right in front of a cold plunge. And then the next one, him like doing that face in the cold plunge, like just doing a bunch of those quick ads.
That's great. We'll see how they perform.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always about testing and evaluating. Yeah. It's good that this podcast didn't go too boring into my marketing nonsense. But yeah, test first, evaluate. You always have creative direction. You always have creative decisions, but you don't know what's going to work. You got to do the thing and then look at the thing and then see if it works, and then adjust and change as you go. That's a lot of people get analysis paralysis for their marketing.
You just
got
got
to
to try.
You just got to start. You don't know. You don't know. The creative guy doesn't know. Your business guy doesn't know. Your stupid statistical thing, it only sort of knows, but not really. It's a lot of like non-obvious insight. You have to like do the thing and then just keep iterating, keep working. Good pod.
Good pod. Good pod. Brought to you by
Daughter
Water and
Tony Sapwater. You can have what looks like a beer at the bar, and your friends won't make fun of you. And also, Newtonic, the greatest productivity drink on the market with the weird eye thing. Oh, I put it in the wrong camera. That is not a good ad for Newtonic. No, this one, dude. Yeah, like that's Lost Boys Fight Club. Actually, that would be the ad for that. Lost Boys Fight Club, because I got beat up and now I don't know how to put the
there you
can
go.
at the right
There's
camera.
your ad. Get your head and your nose bopped in, right? You got your nose hit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was also at Archetype Boxing. That was the first nose punch, and then the second nose punch was today from Wyatt, who I called a retard on my podcast. So it was kind of a long time coming.
Yeah.
Even though he is retarded. So like that's like, you know,
it just
you're stating the truth.
Yes. And then the truth bopped you on the nose.
Yeah. Truth will set you free, dude.
Yep.
Truth and Daughter Water with 7 grams of Icelandic marine collagen and bioavailable vitamin C to help optimize collagen absorption.
And cut.